Hey everyone, this is Lisa Madsen. We're still getting people logged in and dealing with a couple administrative issues, but just hold tight and we'll get the meeting started shortly. Thank you.
Lisa,
hello, Lisa?
Yes?
Oh, hi, this is Catherine Manis. I just wanted to let you know that I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be doing a roll call in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay.
Lisa, do we have anybody else to move from the attendees side?
This is Megan, I think Jay, and what about from Traveler's Aid?
Jay and Winona Garcia can be made as presenters. And then I just messaged Charles Main, who's trying to log in.
Okay, we got Jay and Winona. Jay Washburn, are you able to test your audio and video for us to see if you're able to communicate?
1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Jay. Go ahead and self-mute then in the meantime. And those of you that, if you have an open mic right now, just make sure to mute yourself just for background noise until we get things kicked off. Miss Winona Garcia, are you able to test audio and video right now for us?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, we hear you, thank you.
You can also promote Vasi Lorenska and Zach Rivera. Oh wait, Zach is already a panelist.
Yeah, Zach, can you test your audio visual for us too? Just let us know you're there.
Hello.
Good morning. Thanks, Zach. We see you, we hear you.
All right, Megan, I believe we have a quorum if you want to start.
Okay.
I think we're at 8 members.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the late start. We had a few technical difficulties here, but good morning. I hope you're all doing well. It's 10:18, so let's go ahead and get started. And Lisa's going to go over some ground rules for us.
Sure. Thank you, Megan. I'm just wanted to welcome everyone to the second virtual meeting of the SSTAC. I'd like to start off by doing a quick roll call vote to ensure we have a quorum. So special interest voting members, Ilse Carey, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Kent let me know that he was unable to attend, so he is not here. Is Helen, Elias, or Wayne Landon here? I didn't see their names. So I will mark them as absent. And then at-large voting members, Betty Voorhees. I don't see her name either, so I believe she is absent. And Charlene Ornelas. I didn't see her either. Catherine Manis, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Okay, and then our at-large alternates. Do we have Mary Burdine? I didn't see her name. Rebecca Steiner?
I'm here.
Welcome, Rebecca. Ted Kagan, are you here? Well, I see you're here. Are you able to speak? Or is he able to chat?
I think he's going to use the chat function.
Okay. Okay, yeah, he's gonna use chat, but he's here. Great. Okay. Survivors of Torture International social service provider, Winona Garcia.
Hello, yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome, Winona. Is Alicia here? I didn't see her name come through. Okay. San Diego Center for the Blind, Melissa Lucero or Elsa Caballero, are you here? Oh, yes, Marissa Lucero is here. Can we promote her?
Yes, we also do have Elsa. Do you need her as well?
Hi,
yes.
this is Marissa. I just got on.
Welcome. We're doing roll call, so thank you.
Awesome. And I think Elsa's on her way in as well. So
Sure. Elsa, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. And then social service providers for persons with disabilities, Home of Guiding Hands, Todd Shaw or Edward Hershey, are you guys here? I didn't see them come through. Okay, I'll mark them as absent. And then the Arc of San Diego, Anthony DeSalis or Melanie McCoy. Oh, Anthony's here. He can be promoted.
Okay, he's been promoted.
Anthony,
Yes,
are you
I'm
here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, welcome. And Melanie McCoy, I didn't see her.
Lisa, you have someone typed in a message to you. Robert Gabo is present, but
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if he's on.
Yeah, he's on the list.
Okay, so
I'm working my way down.
I guess he's under Noella Rios and he has his hand up. I'm not sure what's happening there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see. Yeah, Robert, you can promote him. He works for NCTD. So
We don't
let's
have him
promote
on
him.
the list. Noella Rios is typing in the message.
Yeah, I see that. I guess you can promote Noella if that's.
Yeah, we'll do
Right.
that if he's communicating through hers maybe.
Yeah. Okay, Elder Help, Claudia Gavin or Nancy Kaiwanuka. I didn't see either of them listed. Okay, 2 representatives from FACT. Megan.
I am here.
Okay, I didn't see Arun.
I don't see him either.
Okay. MTS, Vasilina Larenska and Jay Washburn, are you guys here?
Jay here.
Okay, and Vasi, I see her name.
Megan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. This is Robert Gigo. I'm at my contractor, so I'm in Noella Rios's office.
Oh, okay.
Robert.
Yeah, we'll have you down as present then.
Thank
And
you.
then Charles Main was trying to log in too. Did he make it in?
No, he was looking for a phone number. I actually called in through the phone line too, but you couldn't hear me through the phone line. So I went in back through my laptop or through Noella's computer to get in. So I think Charles is looking for a phone number. There was a phone number associated that said call in through the phone number, but you guys can't hear us through the phone number.
Lisa, I did send an audio pin to Miss Larinska. She might be able to hear us now. I think her microphone's open. She could give us a.
Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Vassy,
Hi.
is that you?
Yes.
Okay, I'll mark you as present. And then I know Wayne Landon just emailed me saying he was having trouble connecting. So I just let him know to connect through the agenda and hopefully that'll get him in. But I think we have enough for a quorum right now so we can at least get started. I know we're running a little late. So just a couple quick ground rules now that we have a quorum. And I'll try to go through this quickly. Just a couple quick notes before we get really started. This meeting is being recorded, and Kendall Reynolds, Linda Semino, and Arthur Tovar from Sandag Business Services will be providing support during the meeting. And lastly, because this is a new process for us all, I'm going to go over some basic instructions for both council members and members of the public to participate today. First, for SDAC members, if you would like to speak or provide comment, notify staff by 1, clicking your camera on, or 2, asking for permission to speak via the chat box. Please make sure to unmute your microphone to speak, and if you are not speaking, please make sure that your microphone is muted and that your camera is off. For clarity of the record, please identify yourself each time you speak. For voting, by state law, all votes in a teleconference meeting must be a roll call vote. After there has been a motion and a second, I will call for the vote of each member individually, and that member will be unmuted to vote. At the conclusion of voting, the chair will announce the result. For members of the public who are virtually attending this meeting may comment by raising their hands and go to webinar. To do so, click on the raised hand icon at the top right of the screen. When the chair recognizes you, you will be unmuted by staff and can make your comment. For every agenda item, the chair must request public comments, and this must be stated clearly on the record. We need to state that either there are none for the record or that we have public comments. For items with an action, the clerk performs the roll call vote. The chair will ask for the motion and the second and recognize members. The members themselves must speak for the record. Thank you, and please let me know if you have any questions. So any questions before we do roll call vote? Or I'm sorry, approval of meeting minutes. Okay, I don't see any. So Megan, if you want to ask for approval of.
Great, yes, so we're asking for approval on the May 11th meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes or want to call for a motion?
Motion to approve, Jay Washburn.
Motion from Jay, is there a second?
Second from Anthony DeSalis.
Thank you. Do we do a roll call now, Lisa?
Yeah. So Ilse Carey, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Okay. Betty Voorhees, do you approve? Oh, she's not here. Catherine Manis, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Okay, Rebecca Steiner, do you approve?
I approve.
I see Wayne has arrived, if we can promote him. Wayne Landon. Ted Kagan, do you approve? You can, and oh, yes, I see in the chat box, you say yes. Wayne Landon, do you approve of the meeting minutes? Wayne, can you hear us? I'll go through the rest of the list and I'll ask him again. Winona Garcia, do you approve?
I approve.
Thank you. Marissa Lucero,
Approve.
Todd Shaw, do you approve? Oh, Home of Guiding Hands isn't here. Okay, Megan, do you approve?
Yes.
Okay, and Vassie, do you approve?
Yes, I approve.
Charles Main or Robert Gibo, do you approve?
This is Robert from NCTD. I approve.
Okay, and I saw another email from Charles come in. Let me see. Oh, that's just his update for me to read. Okay. It looks like the minutes are approved. We have a quorum. Well, wait, sorry. Let me see if we can get Wayne on the line. Wayne, do you approve of the meeting minutes?
Lisa, I did reach out to him. He's not connected by audio of any means, so I asked him to use his audio tab in the GoToWebinar control panel to choose his computer audio, or he can select phone call to log in with his a cellular device or any type of phone. So hopefully he's working towards that.
Okay, I mean, I guess we have enough to approve the minutes. Or should we just kind of put this on hold and see if we can get him in to vote, or?
In the meantime, you can use his chat function to vote if you like. You can just ask him to use the chat to put in his vote. He has no audio connected at all. So I don't know what device he's in on.
Lisa, since you do have a quorum, you could move forward, and if he enters his vote later, you can add that to the record.
Okay, sorry, okay, let's do that. Let's move on, and then we can always add his vote, as you mentioned.
Okay, so we'll move on to item 2, which is public comment. Are there any comments from the members or from the guests participating?
I did receive a public comment that I can read if no one else has any public comments.
I don't see any hands.
Okay, we received one public comment via email, which was forwarded to me by the clerk of the board on Monday, July 13th. Joan Lockwood emailed to say that your plans for San Diego are glorious but hugely expensive. Wonder how many features will be included when reality strikes and budget cuts are applied.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. I don't see any other hands. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to item number 3, which is, oh, I'm sorry, that was item 3. Item 4, the Inland Rail Trail Bikeway Phase 3B update with Madai Para.
Yes, that is correct.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I am seeing Megan on the screen. I am not seeing the PowerPoint presentation. There it is. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Madai Para, and I do want to apologize to everyone. I did my best effort, and I changed into business casual clothes for the first time in a very long time. So I really wanted to have my webcam on, but I was just having some connectivity issues with my laptop, and just here we are. I have to call in from my phone, but I'm able to see folks on the screen. So let's get started. Like I said, I'm the project manager for with the San Diego Association of Governments for the Inland Rail Trail Phase 3B segment. And I'm here today to provide a status update on the design phase of this project. And at the end of the presentation, I will answer your questions or comments. If you prefer to contact me directly, I will also be providing my information towards the end. Next slide. So The Inland Rail Trail is a pretty big project that encompasses different jurisdictions. It's a 21-mile Class 1 bike facility beginning in San Marcos. It traverses through the county of San Diego, the city of Vista, and Oceanside. This Class 1 facility is also referred to as a multi-use pathway. And basically, a multi-use path is exactly that. It's intended for people using multimodal forms of transportation, such as scooting, rolling, walking, and biking. And it is physically separated from motor vehicle traffic. The Inland Rail Trail is, again, just a collaboration between the different agencies that I mentioned, the different cities, including North County Transit District, or NCTD, the County of San Diego, of course, San Marcos, Vista, and Oceanside, and our agency, Sandex. My project site is within the NCTD right-of-way and is in the city of Vista, within the city of Vista municipal boundaries, and it will begin from Civic Center Drive at the Sprinter Station, going eastbound to Mar Vista Drive. This segment is roughly on the second half of the overall planned segment of the Inland Rail Trail. And next slide, please. So here we have the existing conditions, unimproved dirt path. To the left, there is the NCTD railroad tracks, followed by the separation of a chain link fence and a retaining wall right below that. It is grade separated, and then we just see some shrubs and weeds. Like I said, it's an unimproved dirt trail. We just see some tire marks from a service vehicle, presumably that just, goes through this trail. And to the right, there's another 6-foot chain link fence, followed by just more, weeds and trees on the right on the opposite side of the fence, followed by a slope that descends to single-family residential homes. And if you go to the next slide. So here we have the proposed improvements. This is a rendering just to give a very general overview, and I'll go what each of the elements are from left to right. But this is basically, if we were to slice the trail lengthwise, this is what we would see the improvements. So again, on the left, we are going on the same order that we have on the photo, and that is the NCTD railroad tracks, followed by roughly 20-foot separation from the railroad track to the fence that will follow by the multi-use path. And this, again, is just a general overview. The separation between the railroad tracks to the trail will differ at different points of the segment, but at the very minimum, it will be 20 feet. Then we will have some sort of decorative fence. And again, that height is going to vary by location, depending on whether or not we need a retaining wall or not, if it's just a decorative fence, followed by some sort of boulder or buffer to act as that extra level of separation. And basically, by the highway design manual, it requires that a Class 1 facility or a multi-use trail have a clear path of at least 12 feet of a paved surface. And here we have, you see it's a two-way path for, again, multimodal uses, and it's at least 8 feet minimum, followed by 2-foot paved shoulders on both sides. And, just as an example, we can see a fence on both sides or just one. And in the image shown here, we have a fence on both sides. Next slide, please. Okay, so here we have, as a result of this project, like I said, this connects to the Civic Center Sprinter Station. So this is a logical site in terms of improvements or a connection, because we have the Sprinter Station and there are just a lot of, single family homes. And so the improvements in most of our bikeway projects are beyond when we can and scope and budget allows, beyond improvements for people scooting, biking, and walking, and so forth. This is the Civic Center Sprinter Station. And some of the improvements on the lower left portion of the image, you can see we're doing some improvements, proposing some improvements for people to upgrade an existing curb ramp that's basically the northwesternmost corner of Civic Center Drive and Phillips Street, right below that. And so that's not a street crossing, but again, it's just to upgrade that ADA, that curb ramp to make it ADA compliant. If we look, if we see a little bit closer to the NCTD Sprinter Station, we are also proposing to upgrade a handicap stall to be relocated so that it could be closer to the station. And as a result of that, we are complying with the dimensions of the parking stall, giving it more than enough space for, loading, offloading. And then also we're proposing a curb ramp to accommodate the handicap parking. And this, again, will situate this parking stall closer to the station. Over a little bit to the right of the parking lot, what we are proposing is a safer delineated path of travel. And that's basically the conflict points, if you will, between vehicle and people who may be using the multi-use trail, the Class 1 facility. And what that includes is a new ADA compliant curb ramp, followed by, again, it leads a little bit towards the multi-use trail, followed by, again, another broken down segment of the path where there may be a conflict point between vehicle and people using the trail, and then it connects again to the trail. And then if we go to the next slide. So here are other pedestrian improvements that we are doing as a result of this project. These are on the east end of the segment, where the intersection here is Mar Vista Drive and Phillips Street, and this is the end of 3B, if you will, the segments that we're presenting before you. And I just want to point out again here that there are no, there are no crosswalk improvements or any ramp improvements at this intersection. However, this segment will connect to a recently constructed phase, which is 3A, from Phillips Street and eastward. Yes, east. And this also is the continuation of a multi-use path. This project to the northwest corner of Mar Vista Drive, that would be, it's on the 1400s block of Phillips Street. We are proposing a new pocket park. And if we go to the next street, to the next slide. So we are proposing a pocket park. And again, this is just another example of, we're trying to activate what is otherwise a desolate area. There's not a lot going on. When we are proposing a multi-use trail, it's of course going to go through this area, but we're activating this otherwise unutilized space to be a pocket park. It's not going to look exactly as shown, but just to get an idea, the whole idea is to create some sort of amenity for people who live in the community, who are traveling by, who are using this facility. It will include some sort of decorative pavers, shading trees to provide shade and just a place to rest, possibly, back dispenser for, folks with pets in the area, drinking fountain. But again, this is just the idea of what's going to be there. The essence of the space is what will remain, but, it's still subject to change as we go through the review process with the City of Vista and so on. And next slide. So here we have the schedule. As I mentioned, the Inland Rail Trail is a pretty big project, and it's been a project of SANDAG and the different jurisdictions, way before my time at the agency. And we do have records of the planning of the entirety of this segment as early as summer of 2004, and community outreach anywhere from the summer of 2012 to summer of 2013. The environmental clearance, there are records again for the entirety of the segment as early as 2000. For this segment, there are records of the environmental clearance from fall of 2013 to winter of 2016. And the current design, which is we're advancing the final engineering, has been going on since spring of 2016 to spring of 2020. And we anticipate to begin construction by summer of 2021. And next and final slide. So if anybody has any questions, I am available to open up that dialogue for questions or comments. If somebody wants to contact me directly after for more information on this project, you may reach me. My direct line is 619-699-1924, and my email address is medaipara@sandag.org. That is M as in Mary, A as in Alpha, D as in Delta, A as in Alpha, I as in India, dot, P as in Papa, A as in Alpha, R as in Romeo, R as in Romeo, A as in Alpha @sandag.org. And you can see more information again on this project if you go to keepsanDiegoMoving.com/Inland Rail Trail. And with that, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you, Medaya. Am I saying it right, Medaya?
It's Medai, yes.
Medai, thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Hello, Megan.
Yes.
This is Catherine. I did type in a question, but I don't think you could see it. I sent it to the organizers and the panelists.
Oh, I see it. The pocket parks are a great idea. Will there be lighting in the parks? Thank you.
Yeah, we do have, so we're intending, I can't answer that question specifically right off the top of my head if in the park. I know that throughout the segment, we are proposing some pedestrian scale lighting. As far as the park is concerned, I'd have to go back to it's very preliminary at this point, and whether or not there's going to be, direct lighting on the park, I'd have to go back to the plans. I'm happy to email you with that response. But so there are, there is pedestrian lighting throughout the multi-use path. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, and I'm writing down your name, and I will just look at that and email you a little bit later today.
This is Marissa. Would we be able to get a copy of the presentation that you provided today?
This may be an administrative question. I believe the presentations are typically available on the SANDAG STAG page. I'm not sure if it's shortly after today or what time, but typically presentations are available online for people to review.
This is Lisa. I'm just jumping in to say I can email out the PowerPoint to everyone, and yes, it'll also be posted on the webpage, but I can email it out so everyone gets it sooner too.
We have a question saying, why can't the attendees see all the questions?
Your questions should be through audio. So You're using the hand raise function for the attendees, and then they should hear your panelists. I'm not quite sure what the question is.
And does anybody else have any questions regarding the presentation? I don't see any hands. Oh, Sharon?
Am I unmuted?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. No, the question about the questions was in the chat, there was a questions. And why can't I see all the questions in there, like the question that woman just asked about the bike lanes?
So chat is used for internal communication and tech issues. Some people are having problems with their audio, so they are typing into the chat what they would say over audio, and then the chair is reading the questions. You don't have visibility to that. The chair is reading you those questions, but there's not a lot of them. It's just that people are having tech issues.
Okay, so it's not at all like Zoom where you would see the chat and the questions.
No, it's not a general chat area.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I don't see any other questions regarding the presentation, so thank you. And we can go ahead and go to item number 5, which is the SANDAG staff report.
Thank you all.
Hi, thanks. This is Lisa, and I have just a few quick staff updates. First of all, the 2020 coordinated plan was approved by the Transportation Committee on Friday, July 17th. So thank you to everyone for all of your participation in this process. The plan can be found online at sandag.org/coordinated plan. As you may remember, at the last meeting on May 11th, we held the unmet needs public hearing. MTS and NCTD will both address those comments during the transit operator update. Seth Lichney, who is a senior regional planner here at SANDAG, is organizing additional regional plan vision joint working group meetings in the fall, similar to the meeting that was held at the library last year. And so he is looking to hold a meeting with a community partnerships focus, which would include the Community-Based Organizations Working Group and SSTAC on August 20th, 2020 at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I will send out an invite to all who are interested. And as far as SANDAG offices reopening, like everybody else, the latest return to office date I have heard is the end of August, but I imagine that will get extended again. So please stay safe out there. And I know Jack Christensen is also here, and I believe he had an update as well.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Jack.
Nice to be with you. It's been quite some time since I was with this group, and I'm happy to be here today to give you an update on the implementation of Senate Bill 1376, the TNC Access for All program that the California Public Utilities Commission is implementing. So just a quick review, the bill was signed back in late 2018, and it requires the California Public Utilities Commission to implement a program that increases the availability of on-demand wheelchair accessible vehicles. Just a reminder, the program levies a 10-cent fee on every TNC, Uber, and Lyft ride throughout the state of California, which is then collected by the PUC. And then the PUC then allocates that amount to the county where they were collected. And this, of course, is minus any TNC offsets that they have invested into increasing the availability of WAVE vehicles on their platforms. Stages 1 and 2 have already been completed. They were called Track 1 and Track 2. Currently, the PUC is going through Track 3 issues. Concurrently, the PUC has solicited solicited the participation of RTPAs and MPOs, of which SANDAG serves as both, for the County of San Diego to participate as a local access fund provider. Sandag has indicated that we can serve this function, and we are in the process of completing a programmatic plan whereby Sandag will show how it will select eligible access providers, approve accessibility reports, disperse any funds that come into the region, and then collect data. This plan will have to adhere to criteria that's already been approved by the PUC rulemaking that was track 2, which all that information is accessible on the PUC website. And that is, let's see, the website is tncaccessforall.org, I believe. I will get that. Yeah, it's cpuc.ca.gov/TNC access. So Sandag is completing its plan right now. There is a workshop that is coming up on July 24th at 10 a.m. It's a public workshop. I know we had a workshop here in San Diego last, I think, November or late October, where many of you joined, and we were happy to have you join. So the PUC will be considering proposals and input from folks at that workshop, and then the PUC will issue or make a final determination on the track 3 issues soon thereafter. So that's just a quick update for you. I'm happy to take any questions that you have. Hand it back to Lisa or the chair, Megan.
Thanks, Jack. Did anyone have any questions for Jack about SB 1376?
Oh, Jack, I see Ted Kagan has put a question in the chat box saying, please type that website.
I can do that for you, Ted.
Great, thank you. And I don't see any other hands.
Oh, sorry. I just have a quick note, but it's not related to Jack's item.
Sure, go ahead, Lisa.
Just one more quick item. Wayne Landon confirmed that he approves of the meeting minutes via email, so we can go ahead and formally approve those minutes.
Great. Okay, and I do see that Jack did type in that address in the chat. And did anyone have any comments on any of the other updates from Sandag? I'm not seeing any. Okay, let's go ahead and go to item 6, which is the 2020 STAC membership.
Thank you, Megan. So we had 4 positions on the STAC that are expiring this time. We had 1 at-large voting member, 1 special interest alternate of potential transit riders who are disabled, 1 at-large alternate representing the interests of seniors, persons with limited means, or disabled transportation users who are familiar with the ADA and Title 24 regulations, and 1 social services transportation provider for seniors, including 1 representative of the social service transportation provider if one exists. And so I'm happy to announce that the STAC membership committee met on July 16th, and we welcome the following new members and returning champions to the STAC. So for individual members, Lori Seagram will be serving as our at-large individual member. Clyde Kohler will be our special interest alternate member. Wayne Landon will be our at-large alternate member. I believe I sent out an email on Friday. I hope you guys all saw it. And then for our agency members, we have the San Diego Center for the Blind, who will be the rotating agency membership for social service providers for seniors. And so I just want to take a moment to thank all of the applicants, and Sandag encourages those not recommended for membership to continue to attend STAC meetings as public attendees and apply for membership again next year. We'll have a few more positions next year, so really just want to encourage people to continue to participate and continue to apply. And I also want to give a big thank you to Betty Voorhees and Mary Burdine for your years of membership on the council. And we hope everybody continues to participate. So thank you.
Great, thank you, Lisa. Did anybody have any public or questions or comment on the membership item? Not seeing any. Okay. And we can go ahead and then go to item number 7, which is the 2020 coordinated plan. Lisa?
Okay, just to provide a quick update, I kind of went over this on the staff report, but the draft 2020 coordinated plan was presented to the Transportation Committee on June 15th, 2020, and was made available for public review and comment. No public comments were received, and so the draft final 2020 coordinated plan was presented to the Transportation Committee this past Friday. A public hearing was held and it passed unanimously. And as I mentioned before, the updated plan can be found at sandag.org/coordinated plan. So thank you all again for all of your comments and help and attending the outreaches and participating. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all enjoy the plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Any comments on the plan? I don't see any. David Jackson and Sharon. So David, are you able to ask a question? Not. Oh, no questions. Okay. And Sharon?
Sharon Beckus, I lowered my hand. I don't know why it's showing up as still the hand up.
Okay, it's just showing up as a question mark next to your name for both you and David. I'm not sure.
Chair, those were some earlier questions. You can just regard those. Just we'll go by the hand raise.
Okay.
Okay, and I do have one thing about Jack posting that information website. Jack, it doesn't show in this question area, so we don't have it, the attendees who are not on the council.
I see.
Okay, I'll try to copy and paste it in right now.
Because we don't want to wait till the webinar gets posted to have that information.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks.
Okay, I think I just sent the link. If not, I can also email it to the group.
Great, okay. And so I don't see any questions about the coordinated plan. So we'll go ahead and go to item 8, the Specialized Transportation Grant Program update.
Hello. Hi. Good morning, Chair and STAC members. I am Zachary Rivera, and I help to oversee the administration of the Specialized Transportation Grant Program, or STGP. So today I'm going to share a quick update on the progress made by STGP grantees. But before I do so, let me provide a brief overview of the STGP for STAC or other public members who may be a bit unfamiliar with the program. So the STGP is comprised of 2 programs, the Senior Mini Grant Program and the Section 5310 program, funded by Transnet, the local half-cent sales tax initiative, reapproved by San Diego County voters in 2006. The Senior Mini Grant Program funds nonprofit organizations and local agencies to provide specialized transportation services for seniors age 60 and over in our region. The federal 5310 program provides funding for specialized transportation services to seniors and individuals with disabilities. Jointly, the STGP seeks to improve mobility for seniors and individuals with disabilities throughout the region by removing barriers to transportation services, expanding transportation mobility options, and providing transportation services that meet the special needs of seniors and individuals with disabilities. And so some projects funded through the STGP have included things like volunteer driver programs, vehicle purchase, training programs, information and referral services, as well as shuttle service for seniors and individuals with disabilities. There are currently 13 active grantees through the STGP who are performing 14 operating and 6 mobility management projects and driving a fleet of 87 specialized vehicles in our region. In terms of progress made by grantees, SANDAG does not have all the data for fiscal year 20 yet, but in fiscal year 19, STGP grantees with operating projects collectively provided 448,445 one-way passenger trips, so nearly 450,000 one-way passenger trips, which was a 7% increase from fiscal year 18. SANDAG does anticipate a drop in the number of rides grantees have provided in fiscal year 20 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the stay-at-home orders or recommendations, especially for those at risk, including seniors and individuals with disabilities. While they are encouraged to stay at home, seniors and individuals with disabilities who may be more at risk still need essential goods and services. So through the flexibility afforded by the STGP, many grantees have quickly adjusted and risen to the occasion, really, during COVID-19, finding innovative ways to serve the sudden needs of their riders and clients, such as delivery of meals, food, and other essential goods and services. For example, one grantee, Jewish Family Services, has delivered more than 280,000 meals to 350 seniors across the region during the pandemic. And there are other grantees that have done similar great work. SANDAG thanks all grantees for their continued partnership in delivering critical services to seniors and individuals with disabilities in our community, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Lastly, if you are curious about the STGP and would like more information, I would encourage you to go to the STGP webpage, and it's www.sandag.org/STGP, which will have up-to-date information and resources. And you can also contact me via email. It's zri@sandag.org. Again, zri@sandag.org. So at this time, this concludes my report, and I'll turn it back to the chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. I also want to just say what an amazing job that the transportation stakeholders have been doing during this time. So it's appreciated, and it's just amazing what we can do when we pull together to help and fulfill the needs that are out there. So keep up the great work, and I don't see any questions for Zach, but thank you, and we appreciate the update. All right, so item number 9 is the MTS and NCTD operator reports. Does MTS want to go first?
Sure, it's Jay. We'll kick things off.
Oh, wait, sorry, this is Lisa. I was just going to give this item is just me giving an overview of the TDA item I took to TCM board last month. It's not the operator.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So this is just a quick reminder. This is something I take to the TCM board every year, and I brought it to the STAC last year around this time, so I thought I'd bring it back and just quickly go over the Transportation Development Act FY 2020 Productivity Improvement Program and FY 2021 allocations and the efforts of MTS and NCTD to implement productivity improvement. Additionally, this year, we included the performance monitoring for FACT, which serves as our CTSA. And so, as everybody knows, and so established in California in 1971, the TDA provides funding to be allocated for transit as well as non-transit purposes that are consistent with regional transportation plans. The TDA requires transit operators receiving TDA funds to annually report on 6 performance indicators, and SANDAG Board Policy 18 requires quarterly updates on those performance indicators. The 6 performance indicators are operating cost per passenger, which measures cost effectiveness, operating cost per revenue hour, which measures cost efficiency, passengers per revenue hour, which measures service productivity, passengers per revenue mile, which also measures service productivity, revenue hour per employee, which measures labor productivity, and fare box recovery ratio, which measures service cost efficiency. And so performance is evaluated separately by mode and type of service. So for example, the performance of light rail is not compared against that of paratransit. And so regional ridership actually increased 0.93% from the second quarter of FY 2019 to the second quarter of FY 2020, which was through December 31st, 2019, so before the COVID-19 pandemic. So it was really good to see that transit was doing really well through this monitoring period before I reported to, for the monitoring period that was reported to TC and board. As we all know, transit's been heavily impacted by COVID-19, so it'll be interesting to see how the statistics play out the next few quarters. But MTS and NCTD have both worked hard to increase productivity, and at the end of quarter 2 FY 2020, which is the period of October through December 2019, some performance indicators had begun to show gains. So for example, MTS Trolley and NCTD Sprinter saw an increases in passengers per revenue hour from quarter 2 of FY 2020, which was October through December 2019, over quarter 2 of FY 2019, which is the same period of into 2018. And so we're just going to continue to monitor these trends in the future, and I just wanted to provide a brief update to the council. So if there's any questions.
Thank you, Lisa. I don't see any questions. I did see Dan Levy pop up, and I wasn't sure if there was something that he was going to be saying, so I had him added to the panelists.
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
All right. Thanks, Lisa. So now we can go to the operator updates on number 10. Jay, did you want to go ahead?
Sure. Just a brief update regarding paratransit. Obviously, COVID is the big factor in everything that's going on right now. We continue all of our truck customer and driver safety measures, face masks, shields for drivers. We are working on within the next month or so installing barriers between the drivers and passengers for additional protection. We continue to do all single rider paratransit trips. We are not utilizing taxi service currently. That may be changing in the coming months. We're working on getting all the taxi vendor all set and up to standards on new measures that have been put in place for COVID safety for the taxi industry, and getting all of our inspections up to date on taxis. So that could be coming down the road. We did at one point hit a low of about 3,900 trips per month a few months back. We have climbed up to about 7,500 trips per month. That was prior to the latest rollback, so we'll see what impact there possibly is there. But again, everything we focus on right now is just providing safety for everyone and encouraging people to only take essential trips. We continue to work on some software enhancements to roll out to the system in the next few months. There were a few questions that were asked last month, and we do have last meeting, we do have some answers. Another was one about grandfathering people into paratransit service if the fixed route area is changed and their homes no longer fall within the paratransit service area. This is outside of FTA standards. So if the fixed route service goes away in an area, then the paratransit service would also go away in that area. It's the only fair way to handle the service in regards to equality for all riders, both disabled and not disabled. There was also, let's see, reading the notes here, regarding trolley service and not able to hear announcements. Our reminders going out to the drivers as part of the rules of the week for covering proper procedures. The topic was put out about the exterior announcements and making sure that when there's visually impaired passengers are observed waiting on the tactile mats at stations, serving more than one line. The rule of the week ensures that every operator is contacted by a supervisor and then are required to recite the rule and directions back. Reached out to, looks like they did reach out to San Diego Center for the Blind through Trolley and did talk to them, addressing some of their questions and concerns. And there are new placards printed and going out regarding your question that was raised about pictures on the trolleys and identifying the trolley lines by pictures, not just the color codes. So I believe we've got in process addressing all the issues that were brought up last month. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Jay. Was there any update from Vassy?
No, no update from me.
Okay, thank you. Did anyone have any questions for Jay? Don't see any questions. Okay, we can go to NCTD.
Okay, this is from NCTD. I'm going to start with COVID-19. Kind of mirror what Jay said. We're doing the same thing. We're putting barriers in our vehicles. We're doing excessive cleaning. We have staff out at our transit centers who, when the vehicle pulls in on their layover, are doing touch point cleanings. All of the most popular touch points in the vehicles. So we're going to continue that. There are lift services. Our ridership is down 76% during this COVID incident. New driver bid on July 4th. Lyft implemented a brand new driver bid. The bid has some changes to it. We're moving to more of a taxi model for our slow hours of the day. So the Lyft NCTD vehicles will operate from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. After 5 p.m. to midnight, taxi will provide all Lyft services for NCTD at night. NCTD will continue to operate our vehicles on the weekends. And with an anticipated plan, when the next service change comes out in October, taxi will take over the weekends for NCTD. So all of the vehicles operated by our taxi providers are wheelchair accessible. All of the drivers have been trained on exact regulations that the NCTD drivers do. They are uniform. They go through the same process procedures. Taxis are inspected quite randomly and make sure they're following all the procedures. So we've moved to that kind of status. With the reduction in ridership, this was the perfect time to do it. Late at night, there's not that many trips, and it made sense to just put them on taxi. I discussed the last meeting that we've been working on implementing modules into our trapeze scheduling environment. There were 11 modules that have been implemented. That project is now completed. All 11 modules are installed in our production environment and are functioning. I've created a newsletter that describes two of the most important modules, the web and the Easy Wallet cashless bearing modules. As soon as COVID is over, I will get all of those out on the vehicles so I can get as much communication out to as many riders as possible. So the newsletter is completed. I'm just waiting for COVID to finish so I can get that communication out. I discussed that NCT is replacing the entire Lyft Flex fleet. I anticipated that to be the start of the fleet to show up in the middle of summer. Because of COVID-19, that has been pushed out. The manufacturers had some delays. So we're anticipating to start getting our first vehicles in around Christmas time. So I will keep you up to date on that. The Carlsbad connector that provides trips from the Poinsettia coaster station. As of August 3rd, NCT is going to take that project over. The vehicles will be operated by ND Transportation, which is a service provider. So we will continue to do that and hopefully keep that program going as well. The last meeting that was brought up, the question was why NCT does not provide grandfathered service for life for individuals who routes have been eliminated. All agencies across the United States experience expansion and contraction of ridership on their fixed route services. Sometimes the ridership is decreased so much that it just makes sense to eliminate the route altogether. Because of that, we have to look at the paratransit services and come up with accommodations. So what most agencies will do will provide a year of grandfathering, continue to provide paratransit services for a route that has been eliminated. This gives the person a year to come up with finding another mode of transportation. So we're completely aware that the route reduction creates a hardship for those on Lyft. It also creates a hardship for those on the fixed route as well. But we do try to do the best we can. So we provide grandfathering for up to a year. There's no way that we could provide grandfathering for a lifetime. That would just be too difficult to manage and monitor. So hopefully that answers the question that was asked at the last meeting. And that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
This is Lisa. I don't know, Robert, if you saw the email from Charles, but it just says, it echoes a lot of what you said, but just saying that NCTD had a service change on July 12th with minor adjustments. NCT is preparing a service change in October. Coaster continues to operate at reduced capacity with limited weekday service and no weekend service. And that in May, system-wide ridership was down 67% below May 2019. So I just want to make sure that was read to the council. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I didn't see it, but yeah, Charles was describing what's happening on our fixed route services. So yes, the fixed route had a service change the week after the Lyft Paratransit did their service change. Usually we do them together. Just for some reason this time there was a week separation. So when Breeze does their service change again, we'll make sure we do it on the same exact date. So the paratransit and the fixed route do it all at the same time. And the fixed route is 67%. So yes, so his numbers were all fixed route related.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert and NCTD. I don't see that anybody has any questions. Okay, so I can go ahead and give the update. So we're continuing to provide shelter trips for the county. as well as meal deliveries with 211 and the county, and we've provided over 900 boxes to different households since mid-April, and we're continuing to do those food deliveries. So if anyone does know anyone who is in need of food, please contact 211. FACT has also decided to continue the free trips right now, so we're not charging a fare for trips that are through the Ride FACT program. Our board will be reviewing this at this week's board meeting, which is scheduled for this Thursday, and that's an open meeting. If anyone wants to attend via Zoom, we can make sure that you receive that agenda and the information. My other update is that we've received a lot of recent requests for new transportation services in the last couple of weeks. So despite the fact that our overall trip volume has decreased, we're receiving some new needs. We just started a new contract with Tri-City Hospital, so now we have 2 contracts with them. And this new one just began last week, and we're taking people to their behavioral health clinic. The telework option was not working for a lot of their patients due to COVID-19. So we're taking people to in-person appointments, and we're working on some other services, new services that we've been asked to provide quotes for. So other than that, I really don't have very many other updates. We're continuing our CAM meetings. We've decided recently to go to bi-weekly, every other week instead of weekly meetings. So if you're interested in attending those, please let us know and we'll get that information to you. And that's the only update I have. If anyone has any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer those. I don't see any.
I have a question.
Okay.
Was that you, Megan, speaking?
Is that you, Sharon?
Yes. Was that Megan speaking just now?
Yes.
Okay, because it's not showing who the speaker is. It was not showing me there was you speaking. And I'd like that agenda that's open to the public about your meeting this Thursday, and also the connection for the Zoom.
Yes, great. I'll go ahead and make sure that you receive that.
And how will I receive that?
You should receive that via email from our office manager, Cynthia.
Great. Great. And for some reason, just tell Tech that the speaker, when you were speaking, it's not showing up as a speaker.
Her camera is on. We see it here. So you
Don't
probably
see it at home. I see you, Arthur, now.
You don't see me. I don't have my camera on.
Well, I mean, I see your name and your profile image.
Correct. I'm in production, so I'm running in the background at all times. But Megan is on camera right now.
When Megan was speaking, she was not showing up at all for me.
She is showing up. You just have to have your viewer on to be able to show the speakers. She is visible.
Okay, I can see you, so I know that who's speaking. And I have chosen view who's talking in the drop down.
It's a setting issue on your end, but her camera's up.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. All right, so I don't see, I don't see anybody else with a raised hand, so we can go ahead and move to the upcoming meetings. Lisa?
Sorry, had my microphone off. The next meeting is September 14th, I believe, at 10 a.m.
Okay.
Yes,
Great.
and I'm sure it will be virtual as well, but keep an eye out for the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Thanks everyone for attending today. Did anybody have any questions about the next meeting or any other questions in general? Thanks for bearing with us when we had some technical difficulties earlier. Don't see any other questions. Okay, so we'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.